So there's a man, he's so excited because his best friend has a grand opening for his new offices, and he's really tickled. And once he got there, he went to find the flowers that he had sent over, and this big arrangement of flowers, and he looks, and on the card it said, "Rest in peace." So, wow, was he taken back? Was he upset? And he called the florist right away, and he said, "I can't imagine, what did you mean by this?" And they said, "Sir, we're real sorry, obviously. We'll refund your money, of course." He said, "But think about the day that today, the people that are over at the cemetery, because their card on their flower says, 'Congratulations on your new location.'" I don't know about you, but that kind of reflects the current evolution of my own spiritual life, is that I'm somewhere between resting in peace and being called towards a place of a new location. In that essence and in that space. We do that in our lifetime through many different chapters and many different phases, if we will allow it. If we will allow it. So how in now time do we live in a place of peace and bringing our amazing to consciousness, while at the same time we are welcoming our new location of our reality that we're calling in right now? It's a place of literally the paradoxical aspect of life is that we are attached and we are detached simultaneously. Right? So I've been hearing this week, my motto is, pay attention to what knocks on my door 3 times. So, that being said, I got a knock of somebody talking to me about the story about the chicken and the eagle. And I went, oh yeah, that's one of my favorite stories. And many people here know that. So I'm just letting you know, I know I've told you before about this story. So here we go. There's a naturalist that goes and visits the chicken farm and looks over there to the side and sees the eagle and says, "Farmer, Mr. Smith, do you know you have an eagle in the midst of the chickens?" And Mr. Smith says, "Well, to me, he eats like a chicken, he acts like a chicken, so therefore, he's a chicken." And the naturalist says, "Well, let me take him to the mountain," kind of like what Becca was sharing, "and let me take him and let's see what he will do." And he takes him out and he goes, "You are an eagle, and your purpose is to fly." And the eagle, wah, 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 wah. And then he looks back and then he runs right back with his friends, the chickens, you see. And so the naturalist couldn't stop thinking about him, took him out to the mountain again. "You are an eagle, you are meant to fly." And the eagle grabs hold of that idea and becomes what he's meant to be. Well, in that essence and in that story for me, it's always been that we here, we're all eagles. But today I want to come from a different door, and I want to talk about chicken mentality. Because in New Thought, we actually call that race consciousness. And we call that when a group of people on the collective get together and they decide an idea and they make it real for them because they decided that's the way it's going to be, okay? So I've been in the Carolinas, as you know, and probably recruiting some members of our church here, but while I was there, I would call different department stores. I was actually looking for something, and many of them on the recorder said, "Thank you for calling. If you are calling in reference to your concern about having shingles this year, that would be a very good thing. Please dial 0 and we can make your appointment right now." I'm thinking, what is shingles? Don't they go on roofs? I mean, what is that? So chicken mentality is the space of, and please don't meet me after in the lobby and tell me you have a pet chicken and they're real smart, because I know that. I'm just using the story, okay? You with me? Chicken mentality is a group of people that decide because you're a certain age population that you can count on certain things to happen to you. And they actually happen to you because you count on them happening to you. That's one part of it. Chicken mentality is the person that's seated there going, you know, every time I've fallen in love with my RPM, my right and perfect mate, I fall in love, get hurt, so forget that, I'm not going to do it. That's chicken mentality. Eagle mentality is that essence of congratulations for your new location, because many of us are living in a time that very few people perhaps have ever lived in, because it's called miraculous times. It's called being able to have the foresight and the energetic presence and the believability that we're not just going to expand our life expectancy, we're going to give our life what is expected of us all along. It's what I mean and what I feel, you see. And so today we're looking at that dynamic space called will, because you can have wisdom and spiritual understanding, and those are important because they allow you the power of discernment to make choices for yourself. And it's very significant. And for you to decide what is true and what is false. And as I've said many a Sunday, when you find one person that's proving that belief that you've stored as false, it can no longer be true for you anymore, unless you're determined to hold on to it. Right? And so it's will that puts it into action. It was will that had you exercise this morning. It was will, even though your monkey mind was saying, let's just stay home and don't go over there with all those loving, hugging people today. You know, it was your will that said, I'm getting recharged. It was your will that said, I'm standing in front of the mirror and I'm saying I'm willing to see something different about myself today. That is your will power. And it is something that we do not exercise enough in who we are as amazing beings. In Job 22:28, it says, you will decide on a matter and it will be done and given unto you. It doesn't say it's all done unto you and we hope one day that you'll decide. You will decide on a matter and it will be done unto you. I'm so fortunate that I have a mother living. I feel so blessed by that. And when I was a teenager, I didn't really get the value of my mother, as so many people do not get the value of their parents, and it's necessary because you have to individuate to become your own person. Yes? But my mom was one of those individuals that in the culture and in the generation, there was too much to have to change. They didn't have a unity. They didn't have a science mind. And in her space, she often felt, and she would say this, felt victim to, I have a choice by not having a choice, and it's just more comfortable for me to stay right here. And so a lot of times with my mother, I wanted to love like her because she always says, you can do anything. Oh yeah, you're going to do that. Oh, absolutely, you're going to do that. Absolutely. But I spent more time saying, I want to be different than my mom, you see. But then as I've lived, I realized that my mom, she's like a minister, one of those dial a phone number ministers. She doesn't ask for money. She shares love. And she gives love to people. And it occurred to me that she calls like 12 and 15 people all the time and is praying them up and lifting them up and reminding them that they are amazing. But in the chapter that we're in right now, this particular chapter, in this third or maybe fourth season, I want to be just like my mom. My mother. I even changed her name from mom to mother because mother sounds more powerful to me right now. But my mother, I'm at her property and I'm going, you know, do you want me to do anything else, get any more work done on your car? And she says, no. I decided, about last year that I don't need to drive my car anymore. And also, Temple, let's talk about, because I know I'm going to make you cry, Temple, but I don't know how much longer I'm here. I might be going to a higher place. And I said, Mother, if I have anything to do with it, you're going to a higher place, but it's called a high rise. And it's called St. Petersburg. It's a high rise of understanding, but see, Job tells me I can't decide for you. You've got to decide for you that that's what you want. And she said, I'm moving to Florida. Yes? She's moving to the fountains where she can have her cat and she can have this amazing life. I've dreamed my mother here for 34 years. 34 years. But you see, it's never too late for a dream to come true. And the dreams you have for others must be theirs to be realized. See what I'm saying? Einstein says that we must let go of what we are so we can sit into what we are to become. Paderewski, famous pianist, former Prime Minister of Poland in 1919. Amazing pianist, Carnegie Hall. He was in a hotel in Manhattan. He stayed there a lot. And so he was over practicing and getting ready. He did it every morning, a couple times a day. And so this woman went down to the hotel manager and she said, such music up there, it's so aggravating and it's just nerve-wracking and I just don't want to have it in my life. And the man looks at her and says, ma'am, that's Paderewski. And she said, oh, well, don't say anything. So the next day, she keeps her door open for the music. She invites her friend for tea. And then she develops and has more people throughout the week. What changed? Did the hotel change? No. Paderewski changed? No. What changed? She changed. She changed. Her perception changed. It's like someone brilliant once said that we are like flies on the Sistine Chapel, for we cannot see the gods and the angels that are underneath us because of our perception. Wow. You see, Martin Luther King Jr., Dr. Martin Luther King, one of my great mentors, I learn all the time from him. He was very clear that you don't change life by chicken mentality. You don't change life by hearing noises across the hall or noises on the media. You do not change life by meeting something at the level that it already is and anticipate that it is ever going to shift or change. It's about that warrior archetype where he said, I have a dream. I have a dream that one day my 4 children will not be dismissed or discounted because of the color of their skin, and they will be recognized by their character. He declared what he decided upon. Are we there yet? No. Are we more true than we used to be? Yes. And so what is it in your life that you decide upon, that you declare, that you hold, and that you see what you want instead of feeding a mentality that just adds to the fuel of the fire? Whatever that is, yes? Whatever that is. Angelos Arian would be one of the most noted, brilliant minds of all times. And she died about 4 years ago, but you can look at her on TED Talks and YouTube, and she talks about the heart. And she talks about the heart archetypes, as in the healer and the teacher, the visionary and the warrior. And there's a couple that I think are really pertinent to spiritual community, because the healer archetype, everybody in this room is a healer. Everybody here can be a hands-on healer. And if you don't believe that, if you have hands, you're a hands-on healer. Okay? And so everybody here has that presence. It's the belief about it that makes it so. You know, everybody here is a healer. But here's the thing. In our shadow self, in our shadow reality, the shadow part of a healer is, I need to be perfect first. I may have addictions, and I'm a martyr. Look at the healthcare industry, for example. Just discerning, I worked in it for many years as a speaker and trainer. Look at how many people work in healthcare that are just worn out and tired and just not in that vibrant life. Yes? How many people do you know that you may be even seated beside and or you know them at home or somewhere else that you know they have everything they need, but they're waiting until they're perfect? You know, good luck in your next incarnation is what I say. We have two natural things we're born with that get in our way, and we brought them here. The fear of noise, loud noise, and the fear of falling. Everything else you learned. So be in that space of what would it take to step into the sun and let the shadow go. The warrior, Martin Luther King, Saint Teresa, Gandhi, many people we use because we all know who they are. Power, positioning, and communication. That power, that communication, that holding, that space that sends through people's hearts and changes life. We have lots of warriors here because we are an empowered leadership model here. That's what we are. This is not top-down management here. Oh, no. I surround myself with very strong, opinionated people. Do you understand that? And I do it on purpose, right? Because I want it to be a collective consciousness. But you know what holds a warrior back? A warrior is frightened by authoritative people. And they want to remain invisible. So you see what we have. You see the space. And you see why it's necessary for us to transform that. And that energy in order that we can, on the collective, not that we're not great resting in peace where we are, but look at what we can be as we congratulate our new location that's coming to each of us, you see. And it takes all of us to become the new race consciousness, not just a selected one or two. David Livingstone, who did tremendous mission work in Africa, he got a call from his missions committee, and he said, they all want to know, they want to come, and they want to come help you, but they want to know, are there easy roads to get there? And he said, you tell them to stay in England. I'm not wanting anyone to join me that needs an easy road. I'm wanting people to join me that are willing to make a road. Yes? And that's what I say to you. I want us to make new roads. New roads. New ways. New ideas, new beliefs about evolution, about transforming humankind's chicken belief system. That if you know anybody that still lets anybody tell them what to do, they are in chicken mentality and model different to them. There are people in our society today that spend more time getting their next car than they do what they put in their minds, what you put in your heart, and what you put in your body. If the car doesn't work, you can trade it in. But what you're carrying is what you have. when people go to somebody else and let them tell them what to do and what to take and what to think, it's wrong. It's a violation of your humanity. It violates your well-being. And if I can wait 34 years for my mom to make up her own mind to be in a high-rise, then we can hold the consciousness that we need to end people being weak and pathetic and being guided like sheep, because that's not what we're here to be or to do. And if somebody told you you can't do it, you're the one that bought it. You're the one that got it. If you're saying you can't, you won't. And if you think they can tell you what's right for you, that is not spiritual evolution. Spiritual evolution is about an emerging energy within you that allows you to transcend everything you've ever known about yourself. If you're ready. And that's it. That's all I know. That's what I know. That's what I know. Whew, it's hot. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody.